G'day my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Kathy and today I wanted to show you all the things that I am propagating or have been propagating actually for a long time. Seriously, some of these things have been in my propagation box for months and months and months. I must say that this winter I have not been inclined to propagate all that much, which was certainly not the case the first winter I had plants. I was so excited at seeing them grow from cuttings that I propagated quite a few things. But this winter I found I haven't really been in the mood. It doesn't mean I don't propagate anything. If, say, a leaf falls off or I need to take an insurance cutting, then I do. But I think I want to wait until spring because I am intending to propagate a lot more in spring this year. I didn't do it last year, but definitely this year. In this video, I'm going to show you all the things that I've been propagating for several months now, as well as how all the trailers that I cut up a few months ago are doing. I'll link that video somewhere. I always say that side. It's on this side if anyone is interested in seeing it. But I thought you might enjoy seeing an update on how all the cuttings are doing, good and bad. So this is my first propagation box. As you can see, it has quite a few things growing in here. This is actually a cutting from my Obtusifolia peperomia variegata, the one that my dog snapped. It's got a few roots, and I have a leaf of the variegata, which has got little baby leaves. Aren't they just the cutest thing? Clearly stem cuttings do a lot better, and it's actually growing new leaves. I think that's new, and I think that one's new. This is a cutting from my Polybotria. She's doing really well. Doesn't have very big roots though, but it's got several roots. But at least I've been able to save it. My insurance cuttings, that's what I call these anyway. This is another Polybotria cutting. Such a cutie. Looks like a wet stick, but hey, it is growing. Oh no, that broke. Oh. Well, these things happen, right? So we will try to propagate that leaf. I can't recall what this is. I think this is my Amigo Marcello peperomia. So it looks like I might have been able to rescue that one because the mother plant is dead. This one. Now what are you? I think this is another cutting of my Amigo Marcello. So that's doing really well. I don't know if I'll be able to save it, but I will do my best. Another Amigo Marcello cutting. This one's doing quite well actually. Yeah, I have 3 of these. And this is a cutting of my Peperomia obtusifolia jade, which is not doing well. So I've taken several cuttings hoping that I can save it. They haven't rooted yet. I don't know if they will. I guess we will find out. This is another cutting, but these are only a few, well, maybe a week old, if that. And there is a little fern in here, which was in my old terrarium. I don't know if you can see that, just here. And that is going to go in my new terrarium when I get around to making it. That is a wet stick. And yep, there is nothing on this one. I think this was my micans, or one of the cuttings of my micans. That one is not doing well. And this is the Syndapsis pictus cutting. That one isn't taking either, but it's not dead, so I'm going to leave it in here. This is, I think, the Peperomia brassilia. It's got little baby leaves. Oh, these are just the most gorgeous little thing, I must admit. I'm just making sure that they're all in the moss. That's how they'll grow best, if the sphagnum moss covers them. Actually could do with a bit of a water. This, yeah, that's moulding. So that is definitely not going to grow. This is what is left of my Aglaonema Katrina. Yeah, that one bit the dust. Now this box is semi-opaque. It does let light in, and the cover has holes that we've punched in so that there's some airflow. I don't find I need to give it much water, if at all. Most times it survives just on its own, even though it does sometimes get really high light in the warmer weather. It just doesn't dry out very often. But it's a little dry, so I think I will give it a little bit more water. This is my second propagation box. I mainly have peperomias in this. There's fungus gnats. Surprise, surprise. Now, not everything, of course, takes. I find that whenever I do put leaves in here, sometimes they'll do okay, sometimes they won't. This one clearly is not doing well, so that's going to go. This is another obtusifolia leaf. So far that one looks okay, so that can stay. I have this little baby variegata. Not sure what that one is. They're so small that sometimes it's really hard to know what is what. Now this one, I believe, is... There's a dead leaf. I do like to clean out the dead leaves because, you know, you don't want anything rotting in your prop box. This one, I believe, is my Peperomia Rene Verde. It's so cute. Most of these little cuttings or leaves have been in here for months. They've been at least, I'd say, over 6 months. I have cuttings of anything that falls off. I think these are my, yeah, it is. This is my Neapolitan Nights, which has died. But I have several cuttings of this. That one is not looking good, so I'm going to take that out. And this one is doing really well. Look, it's so tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny little leaves. Seriously, so cute. This is my Trinervus Peperomia. Oh, that has rooted so well in there. I'm not going to take it out. I don't want to damage it. That's another Neapolitan Nights. I did have some plants in here which I can't find, so they probably died. This might be my Eden Rosso, but it hasn't put on a lot of growth. It has a couple of little leaves, but it might take ages before it grows more. This actually might be my Pixie, Peperomia Pixie, because I killed that too. What haven't I killed lately? Well, yeah, I should be ashamed, right? I am. I'm actually really getting tired of peperomias, giving me so much grief. There's something else that's growing in there. I have no idea what that is either. See, this Amigo Marcello does not have any roots. I'm going to make sure I stick it into the sphagmos without breaking it. Clearly these plants will need to grow quite a bit for me to be able to tell one from the other. That is the problem with little leaves like this peperomias. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to know what that is? It might be the moonlight. I really don't know. They grow really well. I just can't get them to grow in soil. I find that they die on me. So I need to find out a way to transfer them to soil successfully. Any hints, any tips that you guys have would be great. Oh, and another leaf fell from my jade obtusifolia, and it doesn't look like a very healthy leaf, but I might cut it in half and then I will place it in this box and see if it'll grow a plant out of it. Regardless, just be aware that if you are going to try to grow peperomias, especially the little leafed ones, they take months. This is at least, I would say, 8 months growth. So it is slow. And it's not slow because they're not happy here. It's simply this is the rate that they grow because they're growing from tiny little leaves. I also think they might need more light because the lid isn't clear. They get filtered light, but they might do better with brighter light. I know that a lot of the things I'm growing in my prop box are ready to be repotted, but I'm not going to do that until spring. It's winter here in Melbourne and everything grows so slowly in winter that I thought they'd have a better chance in spring when they all seem to just take off. Let me know if you use a propagation box or what kind of propagation methods you find very effective. For me, I am completely and utterly sold on the prop boxes. But I do think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I keep them in my garage right next to my north-facing window, which is the brightest light we can give our plants in Australia, and they just went crazy. The problem is though that the peperomias are so tiny, and every time I've tried to transfer them to soil, they've all died on me. I'm considering putting some in pots, maybe using plastic bags as a humidity dome, and then once they get established in the soil, then I'll slowly acclimate them to less humidity by taking off the bag for a few hours. I'm intending to do another video in spring once I transfer everything and see how they do. I don't know about you, but I definitely like updates on things like that. Now I wanted to show you how all my trailers are doing, or all the cuttings that I took from my trailers. Keep in mind that it is winter here in Melbourne and everything has slowed down to a crawl. Things still grow, but not very fast. The first one I'm going to start off with is the Neon Pothos or Goldilocks Epipremnum aureum cutting. Well, I screwed up with that one. I did pot it, but apparently it came loose after I watered the pot and it wasn't sitting properly in the soil, and unfortunately it rotted. So that was completely my error. Yeah, because I haven't had any issues with pothos or epipremnum aureums. They are extremely easy to propagate. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But I was a bit disappointed because it was a decent cutting, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do about it. I might take some more cuttings in spring. I'll wait and see how the plant does in spring before I do that though. I don't like shearing them too much. The next one I'm going to talk about is my golden pothos. That is doing fine. It is not growing very much. The cuttings though have taken, I believe. I'm thinking it needs a little bit more light, so I might move it in spring and see if I can get the cuttings to grow a little bit bigger, more mature. My philodendron heteroseum or Hartley philodendron is doing great. The cuttings seem to have taken, but again, they haven't grown very much. I probably should have cut my plants a little bit earlier in the season, or it might have been that we had such a strange summer that's why they didn't take off as much as I expected. The part of the plants that I did cut, however, continue to grow really well, so I'm happy with that at least. The next one I wanted to show you is my micans, philodendron heteroseum micans, I think. This one, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't think she looks as good as she did before I cut her. The cuttings are doing okay. I think I might have lost one. There is one vine here There's a cutting here. There is this cutting. Not cutting. This is the main vine. This one hasn't grown anything. This stem. And the other cutting seems to be doing okay. They all seem to be doing all right. They're not growing a lot, of course. The cuttings haven't really put out any new leaves. And I don't expect them to because it is winter. Perhaps in spring they will perk up and put out some leaves. I hope so. But I'm not very happy with the progress of the cuttings for this. They're not unhealthy. She looks still very healthy. She just doesn't look as full as she did last spring. So a little part of me is regretting that I cut her. Last one I want to talk about is the Syndapsus pictus argyrius, which you can just see a little bit of it behind me. She is growing really, really well. Even though she's not getting very highlight, I'd say that's probably medium to bright. She probably needs a lot higher light and more cuttings to look a little bit fuller. But she wasn't very big to begin with, and I don't want to make her look really bare. Regardless, I'm happy the way she's doing. So I think actually I'm happy with how most things came out, just not happy with my micans. She just doesn't look as happy as she did. And I have decided that she's going to go into my north facing window because I want her to become full and bushy. She is one of my favourite plants. I will miss being able to touch her leaves, but I can put up with that if she will grow leaves as beautiful as this. Look at that. Isn't she just gorgeous? She reminds me of the melanochrysum. I've seen some on different people's channels and the young ones look like this, so similar. And she's got that beautiful reddish colour on the back. Honestly, for the price, I'd be happier with more micans than the melanochrysum. However, let's be honest, the melanochrysum is beautiful when it is larger, when it has those massive leaves. I don't think it will ever be within my price range, but you never know, right? Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you're propagating. I know for a lot of you, you are in the northern hemisphere, so you're in summer, and I'm sure that you're propagating like crazy because it's a lot of fun, isn't it? I just love it. Thank you guys so very much for watching. And as always, if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, do consider subscribing to my channel as it helps my channel to grow. I hope you all have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.